Hey guys, welcome back to the bus build. So today I wanted to do a brief little intermission on overall building of the bus and hone in on a specific video, how to cut the windows into the bus. Because this is something you only get to do once, and if you mess it up, there's really no good way to fix it without tearing off that piece of sheet metal and reskinning it. So this is something we want to do right the first time, so we don't mess it up. So per Chuck Cassidy's recommendations, and if you don't already watch his videos, well, you probably just do because he is the pioneer of YouTube bus building videos. I have built these window frames that go around our window, and on the inside we have, let's see, let me show you this, two layers here. Yep. So this first layer is the width that the window is designed to clamp around. So we pulled our windows from an old RV. They wanted an 1 3/4 width for clamping the original RV walls. So that's what this is. On the exterior, we have this measurement, which for us is 3 3/8. And so that is the 3 3/8 number is, with this window sitting inside of our channel here, we are going to do 2 layers of 3/4 plywood stacked up for all of our furring strips. And so the 3 3/8 number is the total depth of the hat channel plus 2 layers of 3/4 that'll all add up. And that gives us a nice strong window and good insulation. So once you have your window boxes made up, and you're going to make these according to the size of your window. So I measured all my trim rings and used that measurement to build these. You're going to figure out where you want your windows and start cutting them in. And if you have bigger windows, which I recommend you do have as big as windows and as many windows as you can, because they're very nice and we're not building a tunnel, we're building a skoolie. So you're going to figure out where you want your window frame. And for us, my wife and I were both pretty tall, so we are opting to put the windows as high as we can so we don't have to bend down to look out, because nobody wants to do that. So once you have kind of your layout, you need to figure out which hat channels you're going to have to remove. And so for this window, because this front section is longer, I only have to remove 1 hat channel, which is nice. So I'm going to cut this hat channel out, and then we'll show you the next step. So when you're cutting these hat channels out, on the upper one, I am being very careful not to cut through the skin of the bus, because this first cut is not where the window exterior is sitting. It is where the top of our frame is sitting, which is 1.5 inches higher than where the window sits. Some of these are reinforced with an inner piece of square tubing, and that makes it really difficult to cut just the right depth. And then I cut below it so that way the jigsaw can fit through when I'm cutting. Okay, so now that we got our top notch cut out, we need to figure out where we need to cut from here, how far down we cut this hat channel, because we want to leave as much of it as possible. So I'm going to measure our window frame here, and we have 29 1/4. We're just going to butt that up to there, mark 29 1/4, and I go just a hair big because you don't want to have to crunch your window frame in there. If you have to shove your window frame in there, it could bow the bottom of it, and then when you cut your window in, you'll have a big bow in the bottom of it and your window won't fit. So you want it a little bit oversized, like 1/8, but not too oversized, and definitely you don't want it tight. So I'm going to make that cut, and then we're gonna have to cut a section out for the jigsaw and remove these 2 rivets probably. Comes right out. Okay, so now we have 2 slots that, I might have to cut that one more. 2 slots that the window frame will sit in there. So we take our clamps and our window box. And slip it in there. Okay, next thing you need is a speed square or a bigger square, but this one's perfectly adequate. You just want to make sure that generally your window frames are square, because these things could be, what's the word, a parallelogram. And if it's a parallelogram, you could cut, you know, a window in your bus that's like that, and that's not going to help anybody, and it won't fit any window. So I know that mine's square because I just checked it, and now we're going to go around and just make a little Sharpie mark. Going all the way around, and I know from building these window boxes that my window specifically, the trim ring is a little bit oversized compared to what the window opening could be. And so when I make this line, I'm making this line just on the inside of my window box, and then I'm also cutting with the jigsaw just on the inside of my line. So I'm being conservative with both cuts, but not too much, because when I cut this in there, there's no making it smaller. Once it's cut, you're a done deal. And so we want to make it smaller, so that way it's not too big, but you don't want to go too small that you then have to grind the whole window out, and that's just a headache. So ideally we cut it correctly the first time and we don't have to do it again. So got it marked, we're done with these clamps. The next thing you want to do is you find you a circle that is the right radius of your window, and I have this little guard from a saw blade, and you kind of just stick it up here in the corner, trace it all the corners, and then you have your radiuses. And then we drill a starter hole for the jigsaw to go through, and when I'm cutting, I like to cut from the bottom, kind of go up and around each side. So that way my finished cut is on the very top here. Got a little water leak. My finished cut is on the very top, and that keeps the window blank from like falling out and bending your sheet metal. It also keeps your jigsaw blade from potentially pinching. So now that we have everything marked out, we have the correct radiuses, everything is square, it's the right size, we are going to start cutting. From the bottom up, when I get to the top and my last little bit of cut, this thing's not trying to like bend over, it can just hang here and it's no problem. No fuss. And now I got a gaping hole in my bus that lets all the rain in. Just like so. I'm going to grab my ladder, go on the outside, and we'll do a little test fit. I'm just going to adjust this corner just a little bit. And she'll go right in. Just like that, we have a window. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to do that a couple more times and then have all our windows in.